Man, this Louiziana Hot Sauce Podcast, man, coming to you live from Alexandria, Louisiana. I got my player partner with me, man, DT. You feel me? Dominique Teasley, man, real talk, man. What's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? It's going down, man. Real talk, man. I understand, man. Me and this boy go back, way back, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, we cut up together. No lie. Real talk, man. And I got him here live, man. I wanted to talk to you about addiction and how we in a drastic situation at this time, bro. Like, and I really want him to talk to you and bring it to light so you can get some type of understanding of what's going on and what we need to do to bring the community back to its normal state. You know what I'm saying? And I got my boy with me, bro. I want you to explain what you, like, how did you overcome this obstacle that we, you know what I'm saying, trying to get through.
All right, so with me, I'm gonna go back to how it started for me. You know, for one thing, I always like to talk about is the stigma. So in our community where I grew up, you know, when you say the word addict or addiction, when I was coming up, that was looked at as somebody who was using a needle or somebody who was smoking crack.
Yeah.
You could give a little money and they'll do a dance for you or something, and we laugh at them as kids.
Yeah.
That's what, in my mind frame, what an addict was, right? So growing up, just culturally, you know, I took a liking. You know, we took a liking to you know, DJ Screw and that type of music. And the people we idolized, you know, also they you know, they sip serve and they pop pills and they hustle. But we wasn't aware of the disease of addiction. So just culturally, all I wanted to do was sip a little syrup, be player, and get some money.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You know, I wasn't aware of what the disease of addiction was, that it would be a progression to lead me to that point of destruction almost.
Yeah. So,
you know, all the way through junior high school, you know, I always kept me a cold drink, sip a little syrup, you know, and throughout, you know, high school, started popping pills and 503s, hydrocodone pills, but still was able to maintain and like I used to think, be player, you know, had Cadillac, you know, music, everything was good, girls, everything was good, you know, but through school, and I always like to think about this. I remember the disease of addiction. I remember me and some of my people, we go out on the weekends, they might eat a pill or sip some syrup, right? But during the week, during school, they wasn't messing with it in high school.
right.
But now looking back, I can tell I had that disease of addiction because I used all the way through high school. I brought a cold drink to school in my book sack every day in high school, you know. So looking back, I wasn't able to stop. I was physically addicted to opiates, you know, in high school. I had to have it every day, you know what I mean? I'm having withdrawal, stomach aches or whatnot, but I was able to keep it. And
did you, at that young age, did you know what the withdrawals was actually like? I know you was feeling it like, dang, my stomach hurt, but did you know there's like a withdrawal from the drink? That's why my stomach is hurt?
I knew that when I didn't have drink, my stomach that I was going to be hurting, and I knew it was from the drink, but I didn't know that it was, that I was physically addicted to it. I didn't know that I needed it. You know, I couldn't see the real, you know, impact that it was causing, you know. So I knew I was hurting because I didn't have drink or I didn't have pills, but, you know, like I felt like culture wise, because I was screwhead, I felt like I was supposed to drink syrup every day. I was supposed to pop pills every day because that's what I looked up to. Like, I wanted to be play, I wanted to be fly, you know, and that's what I thought I was doing. So it wasn't looked at as a negative thing. I just needed to get some more drink. You know, that was the solution. I ain't need to stop. I just needed to get some more drink, you know. So early on, you know, And you know, and so I went off. I remember my 12th grade year. I caught my first like charge or whatever, and so in order for me to get that charge taken care of, like I was able to. My people took me to the DA, and I went to the Marine Corps. Like, so I get to go to the Marine Corps to get these charges dropped. I had a kid already in my 12th grade year because I was fly, I thought, and I had one on the way. So I went out to the Marine Corps, and I remember, you know, being in the Marine Corps and being in boot camp, and they was giving out codeine for people to get their wisdom teeth taken out. I signed up for that, and I remember pulling that Maycow's jaws in this label off that bottle, putting it on a letter and sending it to my sister, little Oprah, like, yeah, I'm leaning way up here. Still didn't think it was a problem. I remember after boot camp, they gave, you can go home for 30 days and be on recruiter's duty. I mean, you active duty Marine Corps, you go home 30 days, you get to work in the high school, right? Yeah. And I go in there, my dress blues on, telling all the students, y'all need to join the Marine Corps. But every night I was home for them 30 days, I had a pint of syrup sitting outside the club, you know, still wanting to have that image and use and live that lifestyle, you know. But, you know, I couldn't see the consequences, but my Marine Corps career ain't last very long, you know, getting in trouble, going AWOL, and ended up, you know, getting a bad conduct discharge from the Marine Corps. Yeah. That was a direct result of my addiction, but I still wasn't aware of it. Right. You know, I ended up getting in some trouble, you know, coming out. And now I got another plan. All my homeboys went up to Northwestern. They in college. So I'm going to go to college too. Right. I remember me and a couple of my friends, Jonte and Rocky, we stayed in the same apartment. Yeah. They would get up. We had the same classes. They would get up and walk over me and go to class because they knew one thing, like, he out of there. He out of there. He just want good. Yeah. He just want his, you know, he got his serve, his whatever, like he good. Yeah. And I get up, go on campus, you know, pull up, sell, use, and I just thought, I still didn't see it was a problem. Right. You know, second consequence, I'm a drop out of school. It was the life that was, like you say, bro, like that Screw era, that DJ Screw era, bro, it took us by storm because we was so tuned in to what them boys was doing and had going on. It was like, we was trying to be that and do that exact same thing. We was just trying to mimic that. Yeah. You feel me? And that's how we get in with all the pills and the drink and all this shit. You feel me? Right. Yeah. And that's it, bro. All I wanted was a polo, some Guess jeans, and some 9.5 Air Max, a purple cold drink. Put my Zero versus the World on and ride the city down and hustle. You know, it was just. You know, it was just a cultural thing, man. So yeah, bro, I ended up, you know, my addiction, not knowing I had an addiction. I done got kicked out the Marine Corps. I got 2 kids. I ain't being a good father too. I'm hustling. I done went to college. I done got dropped out of college. And, you know, so I was already having consequences, but I couldn't see them because, you know, that stigma. When you say addict, I'm like, definitely, you know. And nobody was telling me, like, Dominique, you had a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was what it was, man. And you know, and I went through that pattern for a long time where it was just, you know, serving pills, you know. And I remember I wanted to get off pills, and I started using methadone on the street. And, you know, but I wasn't able to be my full potential, but I was able to make it through, you know what I mean? I was able to look like I was okay, but, you know, looking back, I was in the progression of, you know, that destruction. And because, see, the disease of addiction is progressive. Like, it started off maybe some weed, some pills, some syrup, but the progression leads to other things. And I remember some years went by, in and out of jail, you know, just running the streets, just living my life. And I hooked up with this girl, and there's some years, and this girl, she hooked me up with a different drug, and I'm just gonna sell it. Like, this 2010 now, maybe 11. I don't know no black people who was messing with this, right? Yeah. It had maybe 1 or 2 people, but it wasn't in the streets, and it was crystal meth. Like, you know, so I had never seen it. Yeah. Never seen it. Damn sure didn't think I would ever you know, mess with it, you know, and I was taking X pills and stuff like that, man, and I started selling it, and I was making more money than I ever made selling anything. Yeah. Like it was, you know, I felt like I had then arrived, you know, like I'm making money, I'm whatever. But then one day, you know, dude said, man, it's just like X pills. Like you taking them X, it's in there. And so I look it up. And X, it was the MDMA, and I can't think of the name, but it was like methyldioxide is the MD or something like that. And then the MA stand for methamphetamines. So I'm like, shit, it is. Yeah. And so I start eating it, putting it in pieces, and start eating it at first, you know. And believe it or not, the meth got me off everything, right? But now I'm using meth. Here I am, somebody who was player, fly, and now I'm using this drug that I never knew anything about. And it changed my crowd. Now I'm hanging with people that I wouldn't normally hang with, you know, and then the meth started putting me in, I wouldn't sleep. So I started going into a psychosis, you know, like I'm hearing voices all the time, or I'm deaf afraid, I'm thinking everybody after me, I'm paranoid. Like it started changing me. And then one day, he said, man, if you do it this way, you ain't got to do it at one time. And so I'm watching them do it, and bro, before you know it, like I started injecting it. I started shooting up crystal meth. And here I am, this, you know, thinking I'm this fly dude, and you know, now I'm to the point where I'm injecting crystal meth, and like that's when all hell broke loose for me, you know. I hadn't been a father to my oldest sons. I'm with this girl, me and her brother, we injecting crystal meth. I go into this psychosis where I'm hearing voices in my head. I hear them laughing all the time. You know, I'm thinking people after me at all times. I couldn't go around none of my, like y'all, you know, y'all, my boy RJ, I couldn't go around them because like I didn't cross that line. I'm shooting up. Now I'm what we, now I'm what stigma said, you know, like I'm a real, you know, so I couldn't go around people, man. I remember the last time I went to my mama house, man, I'm going to my mama house, I'm telling my mom, be quiet, they're going to, you know, like all that. And my mama come out there in her nightgown. You know, my mama had me at 45, so it was an old woman. Right. That woman dropped to her knees on the concrete, hold her hands up to the sky, say, God, please save my baby. You know what I mean? Like I'm, at this point, man, I'm gone. And in my addiction, so I had became so ashamed of who I had became that, bro, like, you know, like I couldn't look in the mirror for real. Like I couldn't stop doing this. Like no matter how bad I wanted to, people who were sitting there like, you need to stop doing that drug. You know, it wasn't still I need to stop using, you need to, but I just couldn't stop, bro. I just could not stop. The girl I was with, she got pregnant. Yeah. Now she had some kids. I'm gonna show you how bad it got, because the reason I'm sharing this is because, you know, like it's a part of my story and I need people to be able to hear it. Like, so she got pregnant, and so like I'm like, she gotta stop using. We using together. But I couldn't stop using, and I felt like I couldn't tell her to stop using. And so the whole time she was pregnant, man, we used, bro. And, you know, I felt like the lowest of the low, bro. I hadn't been a father to my oldest two sons. I mean, they knew me, they loved me. I was, you know, trying.
Yeah, still, you know,
right.
Always love that.
Right, yeah, they got some good mamas. They never turn my, you know, they love me no matter what. You know, and here I am, this person, bro. I always thought I was cool and fly. Now, I'm with this girl, she pregnant, we using. My sister and my mom and them, they come and take her like she, you know, like literally kidnapped her. A couple of days later, they called and said, this girl going into labor. We hadn't even been to a doctor, bro. We hadn't even been to a doctor. Like, it was that bad. And I remember my sister called me, come to this hospital. I'm thinking like, oh, I'm paranoid, like I'm in a psychosis. They trying to set me up, you know, they trying to do this to me. And I remember going up to that hospital. She couldn't be no more than like 7 months or something like that pregnant. So we didn't know it. She was pregnant with twins. We didn't know because we never been to a doctor's appointment. And they in the NIC unit, you know, like they in the NIC unit, bro. And the addiction had me so far that when I went to that hospital, when I went to the hospital, I was using in the hospital, you know, and the state came in and took those babies from the hospital. they end up putting us out the hospital because we out our mind accusing each other, you know, messing with the nurses and the, like just out our top, man. And so, bro, I remember that day leaving the hospital, bro. It was pouring down rain, and I was running. Say, God, the skies was crying for me. That's how I felt. Like I felt like the skies was crying for me, and I'm talking to God and stuff, bro. And you know, and I just went even harder because I was ashamed of who I had became. I thought I was a moral failure. I didn't know about a disease of addiction. You know what I mean? I just thought that, like, what's wrong with me? You know, and so I used some more, bro, and the state took them kids, and I ended up getting locked up. Now, this was the last time when I got locked up, I think, and that last time when I got locked up, I remember, before that, David Williams said, he saved me. I was going to do my time. He came, he saved me. They put me in drug court. And then when I was in drug, I still couldn't stop. I'm out there still using. You know, and but they locked me up again, and I remember sitting in that jail cell, and like the light in our jail, bro, like you could see out the window, but you can't see nothing. It's just light. And the people say, tease everything. You gotta jump up, go in the day area. I say the people calling me, everybody busts out laughing, like, man, you, bro. So I'm lower than the, you know what I'm saying? I went laid back down, and the same guard I seen open the door and say, tease everything you got, bro. And even though I was that person, I was ready to go get something to make me feel different than who I had became. But I thank God because, you know, nobody ever told me to go to treatment that I had addiction, but it was the police, and they put me in the back of a car, and they took me to a treatment center. And that's when I started to understand that addiction is a disease. I started to understand I wasn't a moral failure, that I had the disease of addiction, and that it was a way out. And I made a sacrifice to myself at that. I told God, I was like, look, bro, if you stop these voices in my head, I promise I'm going to sacrifice myself to help people, to teach them about the disease of addiction and show them that there is a way out. You know what I'm saying? And after about 6 months, them voices kind of all went away, you know, and I kept my word, you know, I kept my word. So I started advocating for people with, you know, who were addicts, who didn't know about addiction. And that's what I've been doing, you know, and being able to investigate and understand what's going on with addiction and help people. So that's what I do today. And on the backside, you know, just to hurry up and say that before we get into something else, you know, I ended up getting clean. Right. You know, I ended up start working at a treatment center, getting sole custody of them twins from the state. I became an old single father. You know, I ended up getting married. And then they got like a trade school for counseling in Baton Rouge, and I ended up going to that school and finishing that, and started working as a counseling training at the treatment center I was at. And then I moved up, started working for a company called Class, and I worked with the state, the mobile crisis team, and that's what I do today. You know, I advocate and educate people on the disease of addiction. You know, me and my oldest two sons, beautiful relationship. You know, everything that I thought I had lost, you know, it was restored. But you know, it's just, you know, being able to prevent, like giving people that knowledge and that information, teaching people what's going on, like. And with the, like right now, it's tricky with that opioid epidemic. Like that's a whole different story. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And you know, but yeah, that's just my story and like how I got to be doing what I'm doing. Right. You know?
Man, I'm so proud of you, bro. I can't even, bro, you don't even understand, man, because bro, you my dude, bro, and I've been with you, like you say, man, I've been knowing you since down there junior high, you know what I'm saying? Look, pups, you know what I'm saying? And bro, like, to see you transform and become the man that you are today, bro, is, man, that's great, bro. And you, my partner Jarvis, man, I gotta get Jarvis on the show, bro. And bro, y'all are the epitome, bro, of what I'm trying to do and show everybody, man. Like, if they fighting with this thing called addiction, bro, it is a way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you don't have to be stuck in that situation, bro, but you have to depend on a higher power. You understand? You can't do it by yourself. You have to depend on a higher power, whether it be God or whether whoever you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to You have to depend on somebody, bro. I'm just glad, bro, you made it and you here with me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, real talk, bro. You know what I'm saying? This was a very, very, very special episode, man. I want you to tell everybody again where you at, and you know what I'm saying, your where you do your thing at, and where they can come if they need help.
Right. So, you know, I'm with Central Louisiana Human Service District. We got the mobile crisis team, and what we do, we get people connected to services with opioid use disorders. We provide Narcan education. And let me touch on this real fast, because with the Narcan and the Narcan education and giving people Narcan, with the opioid epidemic, man, it's so crazy. Like how my story is, some people, everybody's story wasn't like that. Some people got a prescription and was prescribed pills from a doctor. And what happened when they cracked down on those pill mills, all those big pharma started producing these, you know, pushing the doctors to sell these pills, to prescribe them. It's not addictive. You get a whole generation of people addicted on opiates, right? Then they see, I'm in Louisiana, I think in 11 or 14, they had 123 prescriptions to 100 people, right? So they had more prescriptions for opioids than they had people. The feds come in, they see what it's doing, they crack down on it. They shut them pill mills down. They stop producing the pills and prescribing them. They start monitoring it. Now, all these people that were addicted, now they go to the streets for illicit drugs. It could be your mama, your auntie, your sister, your brother. I don't care where you're from. You could be from down there. You could be from Tennessee Oaks, Coats Hill Lake. You could be from the high rise or wherever you're from.
Wow.
So boom, now everybody going to the streets getting these illicit drugs, right? So heroin jumped, and then after heroin, boom, they come with fentanyl. Now they producing the fentanyl. Now we got the real deal, the after effect of them shutting the pill mills down and then pushing the pills. Now we getting, so in 21, bro, just in Rapides Parish, we counted over 70-some deaths with you know, fentanyl related. So now we got all these people that's dying, right? So it's, now we're in it. So it ain't no, a lot of people like, you giving Narcan, that's enabling people. You helping people get on MAT, which is medically assisted treatment. That's just changing one from another. But you know, I gotta speak on that because we gotta break that stigma. We in an epidemic. Like, people are dying, people become addicted, and people are dying from fentanyl. They finding fentanyl in weed, Xanax, Roxys. I don't care what you're doing. And then when you hear that, you like, oh, that ain't true. When you're in the streets, I'm talking about, I see it on drug screens, on urinalysis. People say, man, I just used milk. No, you didn't. Then they got another thing that they come out with, Trank. People like,
what is it?
It's a horse tranquilizer. They cutting the fentanyl with it, and it does that same effect. They don't know, but Narcan don't work on it. So we like, oh, that ain't here. We seeing it here. Like, I'm for a fact, we seeing it right here in Alexandria. So you can't take a chance of getting nothing really off the streets. And so what we do, bro, we give out Narcan. We give people on MATs if they can't stop using. MAT is medically assisted treatment. They use Suboxone, whatever it may be. But what that does, that puts a person in treatment. You know what I mean? They in therapy. They not in the streets. You know what I mean? They not shooting up. They can be mothers, fathers. They can be productive members of society. If a person is dead, bro, they can't recover. You know what I'm saying? So every person should have some Narcan on them. With what's going on now, every person should have Narcan on them, and every person should have the resources. If they can call the mobile crisis line at 664-4244, like, we got Narcan to give out to the community for free. We got resources. Anybody wanting help, we can get them plugged into treatment, insurance or no insurance. Now, this the trick. We can't help people with substance use who aren't willing. So a lot of times family will contact me, and they like, you know, help JoJo. I'm gonna try my hardest to help them. But if they're not willing to take those steps, then it's out our hands. You know, we can't force it. It's not like you can't
submit.
You can't PEC somebody for an addiction, which, you know, I wish you could, you know what I mean, but you can't. But, you know, but we gonna support them until they ready. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, they got harm reduction programs where people get, come in, and every time they come in, that's a point of access. People like they giving people stuff to use. Like every time they come in, that's a point of access where they can say, man, I'm tired, I want help. It's better than them being in the streets, changing needles, using each other needles and stuff like that. So it's different stuff that's available, man, and we have to break that stigma to be able to have a fight. Like we didn't create the opioid epidemic, but we're gonna have to work together to fix it, man. And I like what you said about you gotta have a higher power. I don't care what that may be for you. You know what I mean? I tell everybody, you gotta have something greater than yourself, and it can be just spiritual principles, man. And they say 3 that's indispensable is that you have that honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. With them 3, like, you well on your way. You know what I mean? And I don't care what you believe in, man. Like, it's a way out. It's a solution, man. It's a solution to this dilemma, man. We don't have to keep losing people to fentanyl and to addiction, bro. So, man, I'm just grateful, man. I'm so glad I was so excited. I said, it's going to be good. And then my eye was messed up. I was like, I said, nah, bro, I ain't letting the enemy stop this. I don't care. If I had to put an eye patch on, I was coming today. You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate you, bro, coming through.
I like what you're doing, bro.
We needed to hear this, bro. You know what I'm saying? We really need this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad, bro, you graced us with your presence, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, bro, it's always a pleasure,
yes,
man, seeing you, bro.
Yes, sir. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I love you too, my nigga, man. I'm glad you're here, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, it's Louiziana Hot Sauce, man. Putting it down, man. Come and see you live, bro. You see, man, I got DT